Здравствуйте! Guten Tag, wie geht's?
Today we're talking about language, though thankfully not Russian because the grammar is crazy hard.
Я das слышала.
Today I'll teach you amputee lingo, beginning with something you're probably saying wrong. This isn't a prosthetic, it's a prosthesis. Prosthetic is an adjective, meaning a descriptive word, not the name of the actual object. This is a leg. What kind of leg? A prosthetic leg. You can call it a prosthetic leg or a prosthesis. Savvy?
Яна сказала, что русский язык труден. English is seltsam.
This part of my prosthesis is called the socket. It's part of the suspension system, meaning the way the prosthetic leg is held onto my human leg. The three common types of prosthetic suspension are suction, vacuum seal, and pin lock.
That was a bad idea.
If the pin is implanted in your limb, that's called osseointegration. Since residual limbs get compressed in the socket, they tend to shrink and lose fluid over the course of a day. Socks are used to fill the space, so the socket doesn't get loose and wobbly.
Да ладно, она думает, что мы не знаем, что такое носки.
This plastic piece is called a foot shelf. The foot itself is inside and doesn't look much like a real foot. And this is a liner. Liners vary depending on your suspension system. The interior of this one is a grippy material, which is how it stays on my leg. This is a stump. Though if you want to sound refined, call it a residual limb. Some say nubbin or half calf. I made that last one up myself.
Yes, so findet sie Wörter.
When making a prosthetic socket, you often use a plastic test socket first, because unlike carbon fiber or fiberglass, plastic can be heated up and adjusted. You can tweak the test socket until it feels good, then use it to make the final socket. Before making my first prosthesis, I was told to wear a shrinker, which is a tube-like compression sock for amputees. It helped push out post-surgical swelling, so my leg would be ready to cast a mold, which was used to make that first test socket. And who precisely is making all this prosthetic stuff for me? My prosthetist. My husband thinks it's funny every time I say that word because it reminds him of a very similar word with a very different meaning that is not included on this vocabulary list. But I don't have one of those. I just have a prosthetist. I've also heard of prosthetists being called prostheticians. I would just call my leg guy.
That's worse.
Dieser Witz lässt sich nicht gut übersetzen. Все козлы.
A phantom limb is your ghost foot or hand. Some amputees feel it, others don't. Phantom sensation is when you can feel your dead limb, whereas phantom limb pain is when it hurts. It really puts the pain into phantom limb. Right now, I can feel my invisitoes, but they aren't hurting, so that's phantom sensation. Earlier today, when my dead toes tasered me, it was phantom limb pain. Ouch! Amputees who get sick of their phantom limbs often try neurotherapy, which is a way of trying to trick the brain into thinking lefty is still there. I mean, just look in that mirror. Looks like he's there to me.
Did you know you could also grow a second head?
TMR stands for Targeted Muscle Reinnervation and is a surgery sometimes performed to alleviate or prevent phantom limb pain. After amputation, some amputees are put in casts. Others, like me, were given RRDs, meaning a rigid removable dressing. I wonder how you say that in other languages. Never mind.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Leg amputees can be above knee or below knee, below knee? That's a good pun. How did I miss that? Which can be abbreviated as a bkamputee or an AK amputee. A fancier term is transtibial or transfemoral, depending on which bone was severed. I'm also a unilateral amputee because I'm only missing one leg. If both sides have been amputated, you are a bilateral amputee. These terms can be mixed and matched. I'm a unilateral below-knee amputee, whereas Asayuki is a fabulous YouTuber who's a bilateral above-knee amputee. The internet says below-knee amputations are the most common, and they're also what I'm most familiar with. Unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with terms for arm amputees or partial foot amputations. But the general rule of thumb is that the type of amputation is named after the location, An elective amputation is one that was scheduled in advance, whereas a traumatic amputation is more of a surprise, like a car accident. Though frankly, anytime you chop off limbs, it's a bit traumatic. After amputation, you'll likely have a lot of OT and PT. OT, or occupational therapy, focuses on adaptive and daily living skills to help you get through your day. PT stands for patient torture. Hello, cat.
Oh, eine Katze!
I'm being told it actually stands for physical therapy, but I think they're wrong. PT can include a lot of exercises, but also working on the soft tissue and other elements of the body. I can't think with a cat in my lap. I think you know what PT is, right? Right. The limb salvage period is the time when you're trying to save the limb before you make the decision to amputate. I believe Footless Joe is the one who coined the unforgettable term two-legger. The name is self-defining and hilarious. I just can't decide whether that makes me a uni-ped or a uni-legger. Tell me in the comments which one you prefer. We also need a fun name for double amputees. I think it'd be cool if wheelchair users were referred to as four-wheelers, because I like that sporty outdoor adventure vibe. Speaking of wheelchairs, I have a prosthesis, but I don't wear it 24/7, so I use my wheelchair part of the time. People who use wheelchairs 100% of the time are full-time wheelchair users. A part-time wheelchair user who can walk is called an ambulatory wheelchair user. Wheelchairs are just one type of mobility aid or mobility device. Other examples include things like crutches and canes, and there are many types of crutches, including traditional crutches, forearm crutches, even the iWalk is considered a crutch. E-scooters are also mobility aids, as is my prosthesis. Amputees are considered disabled because we have a mobility impairment. We're not able-bodied, and
Oh, Koshka!
this is a cat. She wants to film with us. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, taka pushista Koshka.
I'll take that as a yes. Amputees are considered disabled because we have a mobility impairment. We're not able-bodied, a term that shouldn't be confused with neurotypical. There are many forms of disability, and a person can have more than one, none, or multiple. My oldest child is an example of someone who is disabled without having a mobility impairment. He's autistic, but boy, can that kid move. He's neurodivergent, but not physically disabled, whereas my daughter has both a physical and cognitive disability. Autism and intellectual disabilities are invisible disabilities, also known as non-apparent disabilities, whereas I have a visible disability. I hate it when people assume I'm cognitively impaired because I'm physically disabled. Just because doctors amputated my leg and I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean my brain was amputated too. People who treat me that way come across as ableist. Ableism is discriminating against people who are disabled in favor of those who aren't. I mostly hear the term ableist in the context of non-disabled people saying insensitive or rude things. I like to promote disability awareness by making videos because the more you learn about disabilities, the more you realize that even though we face different challenges, at the end of the day, we're all just people trying to live our best life.
Genau.
Did I miss anything? If so, stick it in the comments along with any other Amputee 101 topics you'd like me to cover. There's so much to learn when you become an amputee, it can feel overwhelming. I have a playlist that'll hopefully help. More importantly, please know that you're not alone. Countless individuals have been on a similar journey and have gone on to live happy and fulfilling lives. And you can too, despite your challenges. So hang in there and work towards better days ahead. I'm Stephanina, this cat is crazy, and thank you for joining me on my amputee adventures.
Кто-то досмотрел до конца? Wonders never cease.
Alright, cat. Focus, guys, we're not here for the cat. Go away.